Sherry and I are on our way to southern Sudan to, in part, celebrate the independence of southern Sudan in Juba. Representative Wolf was on my show the other day and suggested that that you should send Colin Powell to Sudan to speak to the central government there, to send a sterner message to the North regarding any potential conflict once the South has gained their independence. My question then is that something you would consider? And then it's a two-part question. In a hearing on Sudan, it was brought up, I think by Congressman Payne, that there might be tanks that are to be delivered to southern Sudan for their defense that stalled somewhere in Kenya. Can you respond to the question in reference to Sudan?
Well, look, Sudan has had obviously a troubled history for many years because of the outstanding work that's been done by our team mobilizing the international community. We were able to see the referendum with respect to southern Sudan obtaining independence, and that has moved forward. It's still very tense between northern Sudan and southern Sudan. And we've got a great team on the ground. There was just a United Nations Security Council vote today that is going to send UN peacekeepers to make sure that some contested areas between the north and the south are protected against violence. We think that that can move forward as long as we're very diligent about it. Now, within what will be northern Sudan, there are still problems in Darfur. There's still problems in an area called southern Kordofan, where the government there is acting in unacceptable ways towards its own citizens. And we continue to put pressure on them. I love Colin Powell and just had lunch with him last week. But there's no secret emissary that is going to solve this problem. What's going to solve this problem is us continuing to put pressure on all parties in Sudan to make sure that ordinary people aren't caught in the crossfire and that they're able to live out their lives in peace and dignity. And that's going to be a continuing top priority of ours going forward.
All right. And a final question, and as a citizen of the District of Columbia, I was at the demonstration they had, and you know where I'm going with this question, but I was told to ask you this direct question, and that is, when will you speak supporting D.C. statehood? And here's how they put it. They said, would you ask him, when will you speak about D.C. in D.C. to D.C. residents, and would you please consider putting the license plates of taxation without representation on the presidential limousine?
Joe, as you know, and as every resident of D.C. knows, I'm a strong supporter of efforts to get folks in D.C. Their rights, and I always have been. So I don't think the question here is where I stand. The question is, can you get the House of Representatives to actually call something up? So this kind of typifies, I think, a lot of issues that have been coming up where, because it has been blocked by Republicans, the notion is somehow if I made another speech on it, I would change their mind. Look, if all it took was me making a speech to change the minds of the Republicans in the House of Representatives, I promise you I'd be making speeches every day.
What about the symbolic gesture of the license plate?
Here's the thing,
all right.
Joe. As President of the United States, my job isn't to make symbolic gestures. My job is to lead the country so that folks have jobs, so that the housing market improves, so that we're focusing on the things that we can actually get done sometime over the next year and a half. But I assure you, if anybody's listening and anybody's curious, you just heard the President of the United States once again say that I am fully supportive of full representation for the people of the District of Columbia.
We'll leave it at that. I know you're glad to have your family back safely from South Africa.
Absolutely. They had a wonderful trip, but
Yeah.
but Daddy was missing them just too bad.
White House can be a lonely place without him, can it?
Man. Absolutely. I was up here talking to Lincoln's ghost.
Thank you. Mr. President, I appreciate it, and I hope we can talk again, particularly when the campaign gets started.
Look forward to it, Joe. Thank you.
All right. God bless. All right. Thank you. We'll continue here with Madison on The Power.